We are reading out of the Old Covenant, commonly called the Old Testament, translated into English from the Septuagint in 1808 by Charles Thomson. Proverbs chapter 21. It is written, "The heart of a king is in the hand of God, like a canal of water. He turneth it whithersoever he pleaseth. Every man appeareth righteous in his own eyes, but the Lord directeth hearts." To do justice and to adhere to truth are more acceptable to God than the blood of victims. A high-minded man is contentious and stubborn, but sin is the lamp of the wicked. He who getteth treasures by a lying tongue pursueth vanity to the snares of death. Destruction shall lodge with the wicked, because they refuse to do justice. To the perverse God sendeth crooked ways, for his works are pure and right. It is better to dwell in a corner in the open air than in apartments plastered with injustice and in a house which is not clean. The soul of the wicked will not be pitied by any man. When a profligate is punished and innocent, let's see that. I know I didn't say that right. When a profligate is punished, the innocent become more cautious, and the intelligent, wise man will gain knowledge. A just man discerneth the hearts of the wicked, and despiseth the wicked for their wickedness. He who stoppeth his ears, that he may not hear the distressed, shall himself cry, and there shall be none to answer. A gift given secretly pacifieth resentments, but he who is sparing of gifts exciteth strong wrath. It is the joy of the righteous to execute judgment, but in the view of the wicked a holy man is unclean. A man who wandereth from the path of justice shall go to rest among the congregation of giants. A needy man loveth pleasure. He wisheth to have wine and oil for his riches, and a transgressor wisheth to be acquitted as a righteous man. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a quarrelsome, clamorous, and passionate wife. A desirable treasure will rest in the mouth of the wise, but men who are foolish will swallow it. The way of justice and mercy will lead to life and glory. A wise man hath scaled strong cities and demolished fortifications in which the wicked trusted. He who guardeth his mouth and tongue keepeth his soul from trouble. He who is bold, self-willed, and boastful is called Lomos, a pest, and he who harboreth mischief is called a transgressor. Wishing killeth the slothful, for his hand do not choose to labor. All the day long a wicked man indulgeth wicked desires, but the righteous unsparingly exerciseth pity and compassion. The sacrifices of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, because they offer them unrighteously. A false witness shall perish, but a man who is a witness will speak guardedly. A wicked man impudently hardeneth his face, but the upright will himself consider his ways. There is no wisdom, there is no fortitude, no counsel in the wicked. A horse is provided for the day of battle, but help cometh from the Lord. Chapter 22. A good name is to be chosen in preference to great wealth, and good favor in preference to gold and silver. The rich and poor have met each other, and the Lord hath made them both. A prudent man, seeing the wicked severely punished, instructeth himself, but the foolish passed heedlessly by and were punished. The offspring of wisdom are the fear of the Lord, and riches and glory and life. Thorns and snares are in crooked paths, but he who watcheth his soul shall avoid them. The rich rule over the poor, though servants lend to their own masters. He who soweth iniquity shall reap evils, and complete the punishment of his deeds. God blesseth a cheerful giver, and will supply the deficiency of his works. He who compassioneth the poor shall be fed, for he gave his own bread to the poor. He who giveth gifts secureth victory and honor. He indeed taketh away the soul of the receivers. Expel from counsel an overbearing man, and contention will go out with him. For if he sitteth in counsel, he dishonoreth all. The Lord loveth holy hearts, and all the unspotted are acceptable to him. A king feedeth with his lips, but the eyes of the Lord diligently watch the sentiment, and a transgressing word setteth it at naught. A slothful man maketh excuse, and saith, There is a lion in the highways, and murderers in the streets. The mouth of a transgressor is a deep ditch, and he who is hated of the Lord shall fall into it. There are bad ways before a man, and he loveth not to avoid them, but he ought to avoid a crooked and a bad way. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but a rod and instruction will drive it out from him. No, I've said that wrong. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but a rod and instruction will drive it from him. Some plunder the poor to increase their wealth, and give to the rich to lessen it. Incline thine ear to the words of the wise, and hear my discourse, and apply thy heart, that thou mayest know that they are good. If thou indeed wilt lay them up in thy heart, they will give thee delight, and be on thy lips. In order that thy hope may be upon the Lord, and that he may make known to thee thy way. Write thou them for thyself 3 times over, for counsel and knowledge, and on the table of thy heart. For this purpose I will teach thee sound doctrine, and knowledge good to be listened to, that thou mayest answer them who propound to thee words of truth. I'm going to read those again, starting at 17. Incline thine ear to the words of the wise, and hear my discourse, and apply thy heart, that thou mayest know that they are good. If thou indeed wilt lay them up in thy heart, they will give thee delight, and be on thy lips, in order that thy hope may be upon the Lord, and that he may make known to thee thy way. Write them for thyself 3 times over, for counsel and knowledge, on the table of thy heart. For this purpose I teach thee sound doctrine, and knowledge good to be listened to, that thou mayest answer them who propound to thee words of truth. Oppress not the needy because he is poor, nor treat with disrespect at the gates one who is weak. For the Lord will judge his cause, and thou shouldest preserve thy life safe and secure. Have no fellowship with a man addicted to wrath, nor lodge with a friend who is passionate, lest thou learn his ways and lay a snare for thine own life. Do not, out of respect for a person, become surety. For if thou hast not wherewithal to pay, thy bed will be taken from under thee. Remove not ancient boundaries which thy fathers have set. A man clear in his perceptions and quick in the dispatch of business should stand before kings and not wait on slothful men. And that concludes Proverbs for today, brothers and sisters. All right. Oh my goodness. Keep your eyes on Jesus and your nose in the book, which is the Word of God. And let us embed the Word of God upon the tablets of our hearts so we will not sin against God or be deceived. I love you all so very much. You have a good night.